this lecture, I'd like to highlight a very important note when it comes to website penetration testing. Websites are installed on web servers on normal computers, like we said before. These normal computers have IP addresses, and using the IP address, we can access our target website. Now, in many scenarios, your target website or your target server will contain a large number of websites. So it'll have the website that you're looking for, that you're targeting, but it'll also contain other websites on the same server, so on the same file system. What this means is, if you, for example, could not find any vulnerabilities in your target website, you can try to hack into any other website that is installed on the same server. If you could do that, then you'll be able to gain access to the server. Gaining access to the server basically means you have access to all the other websites, because the server is just a computer and you can literally just navigate to the website that you want to hack and gain access to that website. So if you're trying to hack into a website and you couldn't find any exploits, then the next step will be trying to hack any other website that exists on the same server. So what I mean by exist on the same server is they have the same IP address. So let me show you here an example. I'm going to be showing an example of Zaid.com, so my blog, because there is a lot of websites on the same server. And if we look here on robtex.com, and I came down here to names pointing to the same IP address, you can see all of these websites exist on the same server as Zaid.com. So if you could manage to hack into any of these websites, you'll be able to navigate from out of that website and then into Zaid.com and then gain full access to my website. So let me just show you here. If I copy any of these domain names, for example, we have this one, reba.me, and I'm just going to go onto my terminal. Now, if I do a ping Zaid.com, you'll see that this is my IP address of my website. And if I do a ping on one of the websites that exist, and it's for now we're using reba.me. So if I go ping reba.me, you'll see that both websites have the same IP address. This means that both websites are installed on the same computer, and if we could hack into one of them, we can literally just navigate from that website into the other, from our Meterpreter shell or from our PHP shell or any type of shell that we're using. Another way of finding websites on the same domain is using Bing, and it's a really simple way. So if you just go on Bing, and I'm just gonna put IP, and then I'll put the IP of my target website. Again, you'll see all the other websites that exist on the same server as your target website, so you can literally hack into any of these websites and from there hack into my website and gain access to it. This is very important because in many cases your target could be very well secured, but the server itself is not secure, so you can manage to hack one of the other websites and then navigate through the server to your target. In today's lecture, we're going to talk about subdomains. Subdomains, we've seen them everywhere. For example, they come in as subdomain.target.com. So for example, you'd have beta.facebook.com, you'd have mobile.facebook.com, or you might have user.facebook.com. So for example, in Google, you have mail.google.com, which basically just takes you to Gmail. Why subdomains are important is a lot of the cases, some websites have subdomains for their own users. For example, for the employees or for certain customers. So they're not advertised unless you're some sort of a VIP customer or if you are an employee. You will not see these subdomains on search engines, and you'll just never see a link leading to them. So they might contain vulnerabilities or exploits that will help you gain access to the whole website, but you just never knew about them because they're not advertised. Another thing is, a lot of the big websites, when they're trying to install a new update or add a new feature to the website, they install it in a subdomain So you'd have beta.facebook.com actually contains a beta version of Facebook which contains still experimental features. Now, experimental features are great because they're still under development and there's a really high chance of finding exploits in them. And this is actually true. Not so long ago, someone was able to brute force the restore password key for any Facebook user and was able to gain access to any Facebook user. And this was only possible through the beta.facebook.com because facebook.com used to check for a number of attempts or wrong attempts, and they just didn't implement that security feature in the beta because they just didn't think anyone's going to go there, or for any reason. Like, the beta usually contains more problems than the normal website, so it will be very useful to try and hack into it. So in today's lecture, we'll see how we can find any subdomains that have not been advertised or even the advertised ones. So we'll be able to get subdomains of our target. We're going to use a tool called Knock. The tool is very simple. You don't really need to install it. All you have to do is download it using git command. So the command is going to be git clone, and then you put the URL of the tool, and that's it. It's downloaded now. So I'm going to navigate to it using the cd command, and we'll see that we have the py file here, and I'm going to run it using the command python knock.py, and then I'll put the IP or the website that I want to get the subdomains of, and it's going to be isecurity.org. And this will show you some information about the website first, and then it'll do a brute force and a Google-based subdomain search for iSecurity. So it'll show me any subdomain that iSecurity might have, so that I could try and test the security of that subdomain and see what's installed on it. Maybe I'll be able to gain access to the website through that subdomain. Okay, so the scan is complete now, and as you can see, we managed to find 7 subdomains that were not advertised. So one of them is ftp.isecurity.org. isecurity.org, we already know about this. This is just the local subdomain. We can see that the mail server has its own subdomain as well. And we can see a very interesting one here, news.isecurity.org. This actually did contain a beta version of a script that we were working on, a news script. And at the moment now, if you go to it, it's actually converted and it'll just take you to the actual website because the script is out of development. But now, if you go on news.isecurity.org, it'll just tell you that this has been moved to the main website. And then if you click here, you'll go to the main website with the script installed. So if someone was trying to hack into our website and did this, they'll actually see that there is a script under development, and there's a high chance that they would have been able to find a vulnerability in it and gain access to the whole website. So this just shows you how important information gathering is, again, which can be used to really gain access to websites. Or if you don't do it, you'd be missing a lot of things. For example, you might be missing a whole script with a whole number of vulnerabilities, or you could be missing an admin login page or an employee login page, which is used for admins or employees to log in.